Where do I even start?
Hi, and welcome back to Plan B. I'm Sherry.
And I'm Connie. So in our last video, we talked about what my life was actually like during active addiction. So be sure to go watch that. I'll link the video above on your screen. But today we're going to be talking about a really similar subject. About a week and a half ago, I had to move back in to my mom's house because my apartment flooded, and I actually moved back in almost on the exact day 2 years ago that I had moved in here before. So we're going to talk a little bit about that time and what was going on then, and about what this 2-year anniversary actually marks.
I'm remembering an event that happened 2 years ago this month. And I think there's significance in sharing this part of the story because it was a series of events that led up to
kind of the biggest crash, or like my rock bottom sort of in active addiction, and then eventually me going to jail. But these were kind of the polluting events.
Yeah. So it was a Thursday evening. I was actually home completely by myself. I was in bed. It was a spring evening, and I remember I had the windows open, and I woke up in the night, the window right beside my bed, somebody was scratching at the screen and a knock, and I was kind of freaked out a little bit. But your voice immediately said, "Mom, it's me. It's okay. It's me." And so then I was immediately like, "Oh, okay. I'm not being burglarized or something." But then the next, but then the next thing was, "Oh my gosh, what's going on? You're supposed to be living in a different city. Why are you here? What time?" It was like 2:30 in the morning. So I get up and I run to the kitchen and unlock and let you in. I remember opening the door and you're standing there. You had a tote bag over your arm. You had your cat in your arms. You looked really bad. Really bad. You had bruises around your neck here. You could see those. You had some scrape and bump stuff on your face. You were just like deathly pale and so thin. And all you told me that night was your boyfriend put his hands on you and you moved out and you just came home. So you went to bed. That's my memory of that night. So you can talk about what that was like for you.
A little blurry. Mm-hmm. I think I had knocked on the door, and that's why I went to the screen, because you didn't respond to the door, but I didn't remember the screen thing until you told me. At this time, the city I was living in is about an hour or so from the town I live in now. So I don't remember getting here at all. I don't remember.
Seriously?
I remember driving to Charlottesville from the town I was living in, but I don't remember, I don't really remember where I was until I came here, and then I don't remember getting in that night. I don't remember where I slept in this house that night, or what. Yeah, so that day is a little dark, a little dim in my memory. Basically, to summarize me leaving that day, my boyfriend at the time, who I was living with there, and I got in a really big fight, details of which I don't need to go into, and he put his hands on me. I grabbed as much stuff as I could and left. I left a lot of my belongings there, though, so a couple days after I moved back in with Mom, I went back to the town with a couple of my siblings. I need my clothes and shower stuff and a bunch of stuff that I hadn't grabbed. My ex's mother was in town, so she was there, and she said he was in the back. He was in bed. He was sick, which I'm sure he was, because I didn't leave him any of our heroin. So, of course he was sick. She brought my laundry basket and a couple things thrown into it to the door, and that was all, and I left with that. I don't remember what I did that day, but I was back in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
This boyfriend and I had recently gone in and bought a car together, and the key to it was in some of the stuff I had grabbed and brought to Charlottesville with me. So he wants the key. He got in contact with me. He's texting me saying I need the key, and I said, okay, I need my stuff then. We can do this. I'll come there. I'll bring you the key, give me my stuff, and we'll part ways. Not really how it went. I drove back the hour drive, and I'm trying to remember how this day even played out. This whole block of days is so blurry for me. So I went back that day. I met him. I don't want to. I can't do this.
Fudge. I am such a bumble fingers with my left hand.
Bumble fingers?
All right. Take two.
So I left Charlottesville and went back to the town I had been living in to get the last of my things and give this key back.
This is like our second time to try this? Or third?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Long story short, when I went back by myself, the meeting / interaction went very poorly, and I did not get any of my stuff back.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of it. And long story short, he kind of beat the crap out of me and then refused to return any of my things after I gave him the key. And I lost it, and I smashed the car that we bought together.
And by smashed, what do you mean?
I mean, I drove my truck into the car, backed up, parked, got out. You know those square base jack things? It's part of like a jack you put under the car and you can crank it up. Yeah, so the square base round pole, grabbed it by the pole, parked the car, got out, smashed the back tail lights like I was swinging a bat, and I threw the jack through the back windshield. I forgot about that. Threw it through the back windshield. I ran up to the apartment. I banged on the door. I said, "Give me my stuff or I'm smashing the car," which I'd already started doing.
Gave him a heads up.
About halfway through. I climbed up onto the back of the car, reached through, grabbed the jack, climbed on top. I chopped holes with this thing. It's like heavy-duty steel. So I whacked holes through the car. I could see down into it. And then I took out the windows and then hopped down, got in my truck, pulled out of there.
Chill! She busted this nigga shit! She busted this nigga shit! Yo, chill!
Alright, let's do it.
She fucked this nigga shit up, yo!
Basically, to wrap that story up, I ended up in jail, and then they remanded me to the hospital where they found skull fractures. And then I was released on bond from jail. So I was charged with a Class 6 felony, destruction of property, $1,000 or more, which I was very upset by because we paid less than $600 for that car.
And is it safe to assume you were using during this time?
It's very safe to assume that. I don't remember what or how much I used that day, but I do remember that I was high.
So my side of this, I and the family were furious with you. Because it was the day before they had escorted you back to that town to be with you to help you get your stuff back.
Safely.
I
didn't get my stuff back. It didn't work.
You got a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I did.
And then you go back the next day like a dumbass by your
language.
By yourself. And I remember everybody's gone. It's me. And I'm just like, I can't stop her from doing this. She's going to go. And anyway, I didn't know all the stuff was happening until that evening you told me, you texted me or something, that you were in the hospital and you showed me a picture of your face and you didn't get home that night till 3 a.m. I remember that.
Yeah.
And when I saw you the next morning, you looked like you'd been beat up pretty badly. Your face was horrible. Your forehead was lumpy. Like it.
Yeah, it was like a lump.
That was very
what had
upsetting.
happened is the reason it was specifically my forehead, and I was bruised right here, black eye, but it was like purple right here.
Your whole jaw was black right there.
Yeah. How it started was I was bent over into my vehicle grabbing something out of his, and he grabbed me by my ponytail and smashed my head against the car door a few times. So that was how it started.
So, let's move on, because that's ick.
Yeah, can we? So the day that I moved here from that was, so the day I got my face smashed, went to the hospital, smashed the car, all of that happened, was April 2nd, 2018. Myself and my partner moved back in this house after our apartment flooded, April 3rd, 2020. So that was nice little celebration of the anniversary. Move in on the same day, 2 years apart.
Much, much different circumstances.
Yeah, very different circumstances. And I think it's safe to say that me living here has been going much better this time around.
Better.
And it benefits you guys because we are now in isolation together. So we get lots of time to do
catch
content.
up.
Yeah.
Why would you say we share these incidents and these stories and these episodes of your life and my life in the last few years?
For me personally, talking about these things it's really f***ing hard, for one. But
how many times did we have to stop and start on
a
this?
couple.
Yeah.
And I procrastinated all morning on not coming to do this. But it's talking about these things for me is a really good reminder of what I don't want to return to. It's really good to constantly remind myself of I can't get too far away from what my life used to be like. As in, I can't afford to try to forget about it or act like it didn't happen or it wasn't that bad or it wasn't that big of a deal because everything's fine now. So I can't afford to start thinking like that. So talking about it keeps a present reminder
of where you don't want to be.
Of where I don't want to be, and it keeps me grounded in that. And it's a good reminder of how far I've come.
Right.
And I wish every time I talked about it, it was just, wow, look how far I've come. But honestly, it just really sucks. It does. It sucks to be reminded of that my life used to feel like that. It sucks to remember the pain. It sucks to think back and just want to cover my face because I was so stupid. And it's embarrassing because I was trusting and I was a fool and a whole lot of other stuff. But it's a good reminder of why I do what I do every day to not live like that anymore.
Well said. And for me, it's the same thing. I don't want to live in the past, but neither do I want to get so far away from it that I forget what it was like too.
Exactly.
Because I know many parents or people who love an addict who to this day are living like I did a couple of years ago. And I don't want to forget it either. And I just want to let people know that there's hope.
Yeah.
There really is hope.
And another reason I want to share these stories is because of that. Is because of the people out there who have a loved one who is in active addiction, who's living right now like I was living then, or worse. And I share these stories to share that 2 years ago, I don't think anyone thought we would be where we're at today in a lot of ways.
Right.
And I know 2 years ago I didn't.
So that kind of wraps up this little episode of 2 years ago this week, last couple weeks, and how things have changed.
So I think that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please like the video, leave us a comment, let us know what you think, shoot us a message on Facebook.
And share this with anybody you know that could benefit from it.
So thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed.
See you next time.
And don't forget to hug your mom. You're helpful. Yes, Mommy loves you.